All rise. The Commission on Judicial Appointments is now in session. The Honorable Patricia Guerrero presiding. You may be seated.
Good morning, everybody. We have a full courtroom. So nice to see you on Friday, and happy Valentine's, actually. Welcome to the public hearing on the Commission on Judicial Appointments. As Chief Justice of California, I serve as chair of the commission. The other members of the commission are Attorney General Rob Bonta and Presiding Justice Jim Humes, and Janelle Baker serves as secretary to the commission. This hearing is to consider Governor Gavin Newsom's appointment of Judge Charles A. Smiley to the office of Associate Justice for the Court of Appeal, and specifically for the First District Court of Appeal, Division 1. The commission is in receipt of a letter from Governor Newsom appointing Judge Smiley to fill a vacancy created by the retirement of Justice Sandra Margulies. The state constitution specifies that an appointment by the governor to the Court of Appeal is effective when confirmed by the Commission on Judicial Appointments. The commission has received correspondence pertaining to the appointment, and we made these letters available to the public a few days ago. Pursuant to a request by Governor Newsom, the State Bar's Commission on Judicial Nominees Evaluation, Jenny, has undertaken an evaluation of Judge Smiley's qualifications for this position. Ms. Chaya Malik, welcome. Chair of the commission is present to share the results of that evaluation later in these proceedings. Judge Smiley has asked the following persons to be called to testify, and I will list you now and then invite you to come to the podium in the following order. First, we have Mr. Vernon C. Goins.Attorney with the Goins Law Firm. We also have the Honorable Colin Bowen. Is it Bowen? Bowen? Thank you. Judge with Superior Court of California for the County of Alameda. And we have the Honorable Ioana Petrou, Associate Justice with the First District Court of Appeal, Division 3. We invite Mr. Goins now to the podium.
Thank you, Chief Justice Guerrero, Presiding Justice Humes, and Attorney General Bonta. My name is Vernon Goins, and I am a witness in support of the governor's nomination of the Honorable Charles A. Smiley to the position of Associate Justice of the Court of Appeal, First Appellate District, Division 1. I have known Judge Smiley for over 30 years. We first met in law school at UCSF Law, right around the corner, as newly minted law students preparing to navigate the perils of law school. And so after my first encounter with him, I walked away connected, as most people do. But I had a little bit of a trepidation in that my insecure side asked myself, that guy is so tall. How are you sure you want to be friends with someone you will always have to look up to? Well, members of this esteemed committee, like many of Judge Smiley's friends, family members, and colleagues assembled here today, I am a percipient witness to the fact that the person that you are considering for this position is someone of the highest integrity, the greatest intellect, and of good judgment. These are attributes that I believe are certainly firm characteristics consistent with the justices that you have confirmed in the past. Although I'm assured that you have engaged in exhaustive vetting of his exceptional and outstanding record, which perhaps may leave little to be said or unsaid or presented, I would like to offer a few observations of an outstanding career that I have had the privilege to watch. It's going to be navigated by three quotes, which I believe epitomize my very good friend. The first quote: "Service to others is the rent that you pay for your room here on earth." Muhammad Ali. Over the course of his career, Judge Smiley has contributed to the public and the legal profession through his relentless and countless time and effort that he has volunteered to organize bar and non-bar organizations, volunteer activities, civic and cultural organizations. I had the opportunity to serve with Judge Smiley on various bar associations, including but not limited to the Charles Houston Bar Association and the California Association of Black Lawyers. So I've had an intimate opportunity to observe his hard work, which I'm sure it is a characteristic that he will bring to this bench. But what stood out and what was remarkable, having shared that experience with Judge Smiley, was his dedication to young lawyers and law students. It was through his mentorship, both on a personal and professional level, that evidenced his service to others, and more specifically, a commitment to filling the pipeline of new and upcoming lawyers to come. This was also further reinforced by many of his civic and community efforts, which include but not limited to him teaching as an adjunct professor at law school, being a panelist, a moderator, and just about showing up whenever anyone needed someone to provide insightful and thoughtful remarks. Second quote: "People do not care how much you know until they know how much you care." John C. Maxwell. Throughout his career, Judge Smiley has gained the perspective of an advocate and as a jurist, but I think it was during his time when he was served as the presiding judge of the Alameda County Superior Court, in which he demonstrated leadership and courage. So this was a time when we were still involved in the pandemic, and it was by and through Judge Smiley's courageous leadership that he was able to manage and navigate the court through a pandemic that could have had dire consequences concerning our judicial system, but through thoughtful decisions, management, and really caring to ensure that the courts functioned and that the mission of the judiciary was completed, that the courts remained open, and access to justice was made available to all. It was through that experience that Judge Smiley showed that he has a high level of decision-making skills and showing that he cares about the judicial system and, most importantly, the people that it serves. Last, caring has the gift of making the ordinary special. George R. Bach. So I can attest to you that I know that my good friend is a loving father, and he's an awesome husband, and I know for certain that he is a great, great, great friend. I can remember there was a time when my mother transitioned on Christmas Eve, and even though the following day was Christmas, Judge Smiley was there with me, invited me out to have some coffee, listened to me, and yet showed me how much he cared for me to make a person such as myself feel special. And so after all these years, I was able to finally answer that question I posed to myself 30 years ago. And the response is self. You are actually looking up to someone who not only deeply loves and cares for you, but for the people and for the community. And so now, I just don't look this high up. I look this high up. So I ask that this be your last great accomplishment. So I brought a neck breaking motor. And based on the foregoing, I recommend that you take into consideration and that you adopt the governor's decision or recommendation for Judge Smiley to be appointed to this position. And I wholeheartedly, without any doubt or reservation, recommend his confirmation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Goins. We appreciate your thoughtful remarks. I'm sure that you're not the first or will not be the last to look up to Judge Smiley. So thank you very much. We now welcome to the podium Judge Bowen.
Thank you very much. Chief Justice Guerrero, Justice Humes, and Attorney General Bonta. My name is Colin Bowen. I have the honor of serving on the Alameda County Superior Court bench, the former judicial home of the Honorable Charles A. Smiley III. We affectionately call him Chad. So, frankly speaking, although I'm supposed to be here to advocate for his nomination, Chad doesn't need me or anybody else to speak to his nomination, because how he conducts himself on and off the bench clearly and eloquently speaks to that, more so than anything that I could say. Personally, I've known Chad for about 27 years. We have been professional colleagues twice. Once when he joined me at the Alameda County Public Defender's Office, and then many years later when I joined him on the Alameda County Superior Court bench. But in between and throughout those times, I've had the fortune of being able to work with him on numerous projects. Chad was always an extraordinary attorney, and he is a phenomenal judge. But what folks may not realize, at least some folks may not realize, is that his artistic range is as wide and as accomplished. He is also an editor, a writer, a movie producer of short films, and a director. He is an accomplished thespian, a hopeful musician. He has played such dramatic roles as Romeo. He has played Tarantino's Jules Winfield, a role previously attempted by Samuel Jackson with some degree of success. Musically, I have witnessed Chad cavort through the streets of San Francisco as a Brazilian drummer. And I've heard that he plays guitar. Simply stated, Chad is an impressive guy. But for those of us who know him really well, we're kind of used to him being impressive. That's kind of what Chad does. It's almost Chad-like. He has always had a brilliant mind. He has always been passionately committed to public service and with humility and integrity for days. That's who he is. So I wanted to prepare for these remarks, and I looked at his CV. And I quickly realized that I didn't have time to break down all that was contained in there. And there are many accomplishments, many achievements. They were all impressive and all worthy of recognition. But for me, his achievements simply demonstrate one thing, that he is clearly qualified to do the work. But the more compelling inquiry to me is not if he can do the work, is if he should do the work. And to that answer, I would give a resounding yes. One thing is perfectly clear: Chad is extremely talented and gifted. But the most impressive thing about Chad is how he chooses to use those gifts. Because of his commitment to public service, Chad appreciates that although such gifts reside within him, they do not belong to him. So he understands that the true value of possessing such extraordinary talent is the opportunity, or for Chad, the duty, to share those gifts with others. And I think that's why public service comes so naturally to him. and why he is frankly so good at. Chad enjoys people. And that makes sense because he's a great communicator. He understands that effective communication occurs only when you're able to connect with somebody, when you're able to see that person. This is the same quality that prompted him before his morning calendar began to walk the corridors of the Juvenile Justice Center in his role, welcoming nervous and apprehensive families, showing them that this was their courthouse, that we were there for them, and that he sees them. As PJ of Juvie, Chad observed that some of the kids would come to court hungry because the court appearance had caused them to miss a free school meal. So he paid from his own pocket to make sure that they were fed. Subsequently, he enlisted the support of some of the other judges, and ultimately that compassionate gesture turned into a more formalized program. That's one of the many systemic changes he oversaw at juvenile court, which I think is his baby. All because he was able to see the community he served. Chad is humble. He never boasts, and he is probably extremely uncomfortable right now with all this focus on. That humility is reflected in his appreciation and love of history. He understands that no one is truly self-made, that no one really succeeds alone, that our successes and opportunities are possible only because of the pioneers that have gone before us, upon whose shoulders we stand. Through diligent and careful research, Chad has preserved on film and other media the legacies of those who have accomplished great things and whose contributions might otherwise be forgotten or overlooked. Through his efforts, Chad seeks to shine a light on the meaningful contributions of such pioneers within the African American legal community, and to use their stories as a lens through which we can focus past triumphs and struggles to form an image of our future possibilities and successes. And he is living proof of that journey. So one final thought that I have. On the Superior Court bench, you often come face to face with the actual person who is affected by your decision. You can't help but see them because they're right in front of you and they're reacting to everything that you say. The challenge, I think, in appellate court is that individuals that your decisions have an impact on may not stand in front of you. Their words and reactions may be reduced only to a transcript or reflected in the argument of counsel, but you must always see them. This is something Chad has done throughout his entire career, and I am confident he will continue to do with wisdom, integrity, and compassion. Thank you for the opportunity to share my comments. I had not reserved time for rebuttal because I agree.
You don't need it. Thank you. Thank you, Judge Bowen, for your powerful and insightful remarks on the quality and characters of Judge Smiley. We appreciate it. We next welcome to the podium Justice Petrou,
who's not as tall. All right. Good morning, Chief Justice Guerrero, Presiding Justice Humes, and Attorney General Bonta. My name is Ioana Petrou, and I sit here on the First District Court of Appeal. I could not be more thrilled or honored or excited to be standing before you this morning in full-throated support of Judge Charles Smiley's appointment to our court. And for purposes of this morning's hearing, my most important title is definitely not Associate Justice. It's Charles Smiley Superfan, which I absolutely am, and it's a title I'm sure I share with everyone in this room who knows him at all well. Judge Smiley and I first met just about 14 years ago when I was a baby judge on the Alameda County Trial Court and was assigned a family law department. Now, at the time, truthfully, I was not aware that California had a family code, so I had a lot to learn. And I had no idea how to handle a heavily impacted courtroom full of a very large percentage of self-represented litigants and a percentage of close to 100 of upset litigants and often their attorneys as well. Thankfully for me, my chambers were right next door to Judge Smiley, who at the time was a commissioner overseeing Department of Child Support Services hearings. And it did not take long for me to understand that Judge Smiley was someone I could go to and often did go to talk through difficult legal issues, even more difficult court management issues, and very often to share a laugh together, which was very needed. Judge Smiley met every conversation I had with him then and every conversation I have had with him since, the same exact way he's conducted himself as a judge on the trial court and as a leader on the trial court. And that is with zero ego, full attention, a desire to help, a focus on justice, and an open heart. And he really earned a special place in my heart those many years ago when he took it upon himself to, I don't even know if he remembers this, but completely unasked for, he took it upon himself to take care of my daughter, who was then 9 years old, when she was too sick to go to school and so had to spend the day in chambers while I was on the bench. Now, it's one thing to trust someone with legal discussions and to share the joys and tribulations of being on the trial court, and another to immediately and completely trust that person with your 9-year-old, which I did, and it was wonderful. And my daughter, who's now 23, still positively lights up at the mention of Judge Smiley's name. I've also had the great fun of teaching a variety of trial advocacy classes at Berkeley Law with Judge Smiley over the course of the past decade. Actually, it's been exactly 10 years. And I mean, we have fun, especially when he picks me up and gives me a ride and we listen to Italian rap along the way. That's our mutual choice of music for that. And when he does things like let students practice cross-examination by basically harassing him about his choice of clothing. I mean, think questions like, your mom picked out that sweater, didn't she? And you think that watch is cool, don't you? This is how we practice cross. So listen, I could not be more happy about this impending appointment, and I could go on for hours. I was told very clearly by Judge Smiley that I would be forcibly removed at the 3-minute mark, so I'm a little relieved it's not up, but I have a feeling I'm there. So let me just say this to you. Judge Smiley is someone who never thinks of himself as too good or too important for any task, any assignment, any role. He understands in his bones that no one of us has more value or is more intrinsically important than anyone else. I think that is a big part of the reason he has been a tremendous judge on the trial court, court leader, community leader, teacher, colleague, and my friend, along with the friend of many others. And I think this is what will also be a big part of what makes him a tremendous justice here on our Court of Appeal. So I thank you for your time this morning, and I thank you for considering my remarks.
Thank you, Justice Petrou. Thank you so much for your thoughtful and compelling remarks here today. The Commission now invites the Chair of the Judicial Nominees Evaluation Commission, Ms. Chaya Malik, for the report of the evaluation that your Commission conducted. Thank you.
Good morning, Chief Justice Guerrero, Attorney General Bonta, and Presiding Justice Humes. It is a real honor to be here on Valentine's Day in a celebration of love and joy. And I'm honored to present this report on behalf of the Commission on Judicial Nominee Evaluation to summarize the basis of the Commission's rating of Judge Charles A. Smiley for the Office of Associate Justice of the Court of Appeal, 1st Appellate District, Division 1. The Jenny Commission conducted its evaluation of Judge Charles A. Smiley in October 2024, unanimously finding him to be exceptionally well qualified for the service on the 1st District Court of Appeal. According to Commission rules, that rating reflects the Commission's determination that Judge Smiley possesses qualities and attributes of remarkable and extraordinary superiority that enable him to perform the appellate judicial function with distinction. Judge Smiley was born in Queens, New York, and moved several times during his childhood. His family eventually settled in Los Angeles when he was in the 6th grade, and he lived there until moving to the Bay Area to attend the University of California, Berkeley, where he earned a BA in 1989. Go Bears. He went on to obtain his JD from UC Law San Francisco in 1997. Following his graduation, Judge Smiley worked for 10 years as a deputy public defender at the Office of the Alameda County Public Defender. A pivotal moment in Judge Smiley's life occurred when his father passed away suddenly while he was working as a public defender. This loss led him to step outside of his comfort zone, taking on new roles such as teaching at UC Law San Francisco and speaking at community events. Through these experiences, he developed a deep passion for community involvement, particularly in the area of youth engagement and civic education. He has dedicated considerable time to serving as an instructor, speaker, mentor, or panelist at over 70 schools and youth programs. In addition, he co-founded the Alameda County Civic Learning Collaborative to empower young people and teach civics. In 2007, Judge Smiley was appointed as a commissioner for the Alameda County Superior Court, where he presided over family law cases. He was appointed to the bench in 2012, where he has taken on multiple leadership roles, including presiding judge, overseeing the administration of all court business. As a juvenile court presiding judge, Judge Smiley launched several innovative programs, such as a youth job skills development initiative and a free food program for young people summoned to court. Along with other court lawyers, he helped create a practice aimed at humanizing the court process, including personally greeting families in the lobby of the Juvenile Justice Center. Judge Smiley is an active member of various judicial committees and has been teaching trial advocacy at UC Berkeley's School of Law since 2014. In 2024, he served a 3-month pro tem assignment at the First District Court of Appeal, where he authored 8 opinions and concurred in 28 written by other justices. He's also participated in oral arguments and writ conferences. Outside of his professional work, Judge Smiley enjoys music, film, and history. He is known as Alameda County Superior Court's unofficial historian for producing short films that celebrate the careers of local judges. In conversations with members of the community, Jenny learned that Judge Smiley is widely admired for his dedication, intelligence, strong work ethic, compassion, engagement, and intellectual curiosity, qualities that are immediately apparent to anyone fortunate enough to meet him. And I've heard from his aunts and uncles in the room that he also opened doors at age 5 and is, quote, the real deal. As Jenny Commission Chair, it is my absolute honor and privilege to appear at the confirmation hearing for Charles A. Smiley, Judge Charles A. Smiley, and to testify as to Commission's evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Malik. We always appreciate not only your presentation, but all the work that goes into it from your entire commission. Thank you. Now the commission invites Judge Smiley to present a statement, if you wish, and to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Thank you. Well, let me start by saying if I've done anything well today, it's in picking my witnesses. Thank you. Thank you all. Good morning, Chief Justice, Attorney General, hopefully my boss, Presiding Justice Humes. I'm certainly and obviously honored to stand before you today. I'm grateful to the governor's for the governor's nomination and for the exceptional work of Secretary Cespedes and his Deputy Secretary, Adam Hoffman, who's with us today, and their staff. And if I may, before submitting on the record and my witnesses for your decision on my nomination, I'd like to just make a few remarks of appreciation. Many people are involved in vetting candidates for this process. All of you know that well. My family certainly doesn't know that. Those aren't things that I've shared with them. But it's important that they, and the world frankly knows how serious the legal community takes these roles and the tremendous amount of work that goes into discussing any particular nomination. So I am so fortunate to stand here today, but I want to thank the many people who are part of making that happen in this process. And so I'll begin by thanking Jenny and its chair, Ms. Malik, as well as the entire commission and the investigating commissioners who were assigned to my application. They were wonderful, all three of them. Several organizations, I should mention, because each of these organizations has been really important in my career development and lifting me up, teaching me so much, and also creating aspirations, goals for my career. They include AAA CJO, the Alameda County Bar, the Earl Warren Inn of Court, where my acting occurred, as was referenced earlier, California Association of Black Lawyers, and the Charles Houston Bar Association. I'm also very grateful for the opportunity I had, thanks to you, Your Honor, last year, when from January to March, I had an opportunity to sit in Division 4. And for that, I'm also thankful to Presiding Justice of Division 4, Tracy Brown, for the opportunity, and to you, Your Honor, and also the presiding judge from Alameda County, Tom Nixon, who's present with us today, who, having been presiding judge and knowing what was going on as I passed the baton to him, I knew it didn't make any sense to send another judge away, not at that time. And I don't know how he did it. I didn't even ask because I was just grateful for the opportunity. And the opportunity was everything, because although I had applied for this position, I didn't know what it was exactly. And this provided an opportunity for me to come up here, work with the wonderful justices in Division 4, meet other justices who are part of this court system, and become absolutely inspired by the work that they do here. And it's with that enthusiasm that I'm asking you to consider my nomination. I appreciate all who participate in the process. It's largely anonymous, so there are many people who I won't be able to thank, so I thank them now. Also, other folks I do know were kind enough to say something kind or write a letter, and I appreciate those efforts as well as they brought me here today. True, I've known Vernon Goins forever. We studied for the bar together. We've taken a lot of lumps, and I really appreciate you. I couldn't imagine anyone else starting off this as a witness for me today than you. A very clear choice. Judge Bowen, and all of you are just, I respect each of you so much. You were selected not because I knew you'd say nice things about me, but because you're saying nice things about me. My Jenny commissioners did this to me too. In any event, you were my friends. And clearly I can't even get to you, so we'll talk later. I was at an investiture last night for someone I also respect, who's in the room, Judge Rogers from the San Francisco court, and I'm way off script right now only because she was talking about how unprofessional and unfitting it is for a judicial officer who's supposed to be stoic and firm in their convictions to have emotions. She was funny, clever, and that was a great event. My family is here. There are many folks who are present behind me and who traveled from all over the country. There are many more joining us online. I love you all. I thank you for your support on the product, of all the love and sacrifice that all of us have put together. We are a tight, close, loving family, and their presence today, and even those who I know wanted to be here, of course, means everything. But of course, what makes things happen for me and the people who are my everything every day, it's my beautiful wife, Anita, behind me, as well as my daughter, Dylan. They make everything worthwhile, and nothing would be enjoyable without the ability to come home to them every day. And I'll end here just to mention although they're no longer with us, Charles M. Smiley Jr. and this is my wife's job. She's the one who's always busting out. And Barbara Baylor Smiley. I just know how moved they would be to see me at this lectern today. So thank you. I'm ready, willing, and able to answer whatever questions this commission has for me.
Thank Thank you. Are there any questions from the commission? I'll start with Attorney General Bonta.
I'll start with a comment. Judge Smiley, first of all, wonderful to be part of this beautiful celebration, and your witnesses did an incredible job. It was wonderful to hear from them about not just your professional skills and talents, but some of the personal aspects. I won't ask you to recite any lines from Romeo and Juliet or rap your favorite line of Italian rap, something I'm not super familiar with, but I listened to with great interest. And but I did want to ask you this. This has been top of mind for me. We've seen some, in my view, disturbing comments from some of the most powerful leaders in our country, our Speaker of the House, our Vice President, that undermine the legitimacy of the judiciary and the ability of the judiciary to be a co-equal branch of government, to interpret the law and to play its role, including identifying and checking overreach of executive authority. Can you reflect a little bit on just what you consider to be the ongoing role of the judiciary and what it means today, given some of these statements and actions we're seeing at the federal level?
I can. Thank you. I think the roles can be simply stated. Our work is done without fear or favor, period. When we know what the law is, it's our job to examine it. It's our job to interpret it. And then we make decisions. It ends there. And we are the arbiters. We are the third co-equal branch that I hope the future will reveal. Shows that we are a nation of checks and balances, and that there is substance to the institutions that exist, and that when a one or two branches diminish, some might argue, the third can expand, not towards activism, but in terms of standing firm within its own constitutional role and make decisions that provide the checks and balances that the architects of our constitutions, state and federal, originally designed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This I can do without walking into some trouble.
I love it. I love it all.
Well done.
Thank you. I look forward to confirming you.
Thank you. Presiding Justice Humes?
I have no questions, but I do want to say thank you for your public service and for your leadership in the community. And I also want to thank your friends and your family. You have lots of supporters, and I'm sure that they've helped enable you to get to where you are and become the person you are. And I thank them as well as you. So I also look forward to voting yes for you.
Thank you for that observation.
Well, I stand in the way, not because I don't also look forward to voting yes, but I also wanted to comment on and acknowledge the love and admiration that I see in this courtroom for you. And so I thank your family for being here as well. I wanted to ask you about one of the responses in your questionnaire where you talk about what you're most proud of. And it's been touched upon here today too, about the fact that you took it upon yourself to personally greet the families, was it in juvenile court?
Yes.
In order to humanize the judiciary and to make them feel welcome and heard. And also that, as also was mentioned, you personally paid for some of the students to have, or the participants to have free lunches because they were missing school. And it's hard to then think of something that you hope to do as an appellate justice that would quite match those accomplishments, because to your credit. I mean, it's really remarkable that you did that and you took the time to do that. But I'm wondering if that's your proudest moment, what do you envision for your future as an appellate justice, and what do you hope to accomplish?
Sure. The what I love about being on the trial court is there are all sorts of opportunities for creativity. And I didn't know that at first as a commissioner. I just had my head down trying to learn my craft, do my job as well as I could. I asked for the leadership position in juvenile because I knew there was something I wanted to do. And I knew that juvenile was an area of the law where the ethics aren't as rigid for judges. And there were opportunities and expectations for judges to get out there and do good work, not just for the young people who are impacted by the system, but more broadly. And now on the Court of Appeal, one of the things I was interested in when I sat as a pro tem last year was how would I deal with not seeing folks every day? And, I'm used to and enjoy the commotion, the heavy calendars, the banter, the difficult, even the rough days are days of excitement. I don't see that would change, but being on the first district, there are still the same opportunities to be involved and be out there in the community. And I'm sitting up here now as a pro tem, as a matter of fact, I'll share. But even in this capacity, on Wednesday, which was a court holiday, I spent the day with the juvenile dependency stakeholders at an office in West Oakland, training them on various aspects of their work. Next Tuesday, I'm on a panel for pretrial services to talk about innovations going on in Alameda County, that talk about the wisdom and the ability to release people pretrial in a way that's consistent with public safety. And on Thursday, next week, I'm speaking to a bunch of fifth graders at a school. I don't even know the name of the school. I just got a call the other day. I said yes, and so I'll be talking to two classes of fifth graders on Thursday, and then the following week, I'm giving presentations. One at Hastings, at UC Law SF, and the other one will be for the National Bar Association Region 9, which is a Zoom presentation I'm giving. I'm always going to look for ways to be involved, and those are presentations that do things that I enjoy doing, but I think that there's substantive work to be done as well that also lends itself to the same creativity. I'm looking forward to working with bar associations. And it can be training, or it can be working on different policies, or figuring out how to continue to grow the branch, to continue to champion a lack of implicit bias in the work that we do. There are always opportunities. And I begin every day with words acknowledging that today is filled with opportunity, just in my own mind, so that I'm priming myself to get ready and to look for those opportunities to lift people up around me, lift up the work that I do. That's what's meaningful to me. So I'm going to miss the trial court terribly. I will miss the opportunity, even after juvenile, to start bringing food for unhoused populations I was working with in the collaborative courts right before I left to come work up here. But the work being done up here is substantial in a whole different way that I find absolutely fascinating. And so the core work itself might be different, but I will find other outlets to make sure that I'm contributing my voice, my sensibilities, and some of the goals I see for our branch in different places within the legal community.
Thank you. We look forward to all that you will continue to accomplish.
Thank you.
This completes the list of witnesses who are testifying here today. Are the members of the commission ready at this time to vote?
Yeah.
All in favor of confirming Judge Smiley for this position, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. On this record and correspondence received, the Commission finds Judge Charles Smiley qualified to be an Associate Justice of the Court of Appeal for the 1st District, Division 1. We confirm his appointment. Congratulations, Justice Smiley. Thank you. The formal portion of the hearing is now adjourned, and Judge Smiley has asked me to administer the oath, which will happen in a few minutes after we prepare some paperwork. You're all welcome to stay and join us then. Thank you. Okay, I'm ready if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I'm Charles Adam Smiley.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. Merci. This is for you.
Oh, but
Just brief remarks. I just passed a waiting room where there's another Koji hearing, impatiently waiting for their opportunity to fill this room. But I want to thank all of you for being here today. I'm super excited and grateful for the warm welcome I've already received from my colleagues now, I can say that, at the First District Court of Appeal. I'm going to ask Tom Nixon not to shut off my email at the trial court too soon. But it's absolutely wonderful to see you. But for my family and friends who are here, as I was preparing for today, you can't help but start thinking, looking over your life and thinking about how in the heck did I end up here? Because if you had met me some time ago, no one had this as a plan for me. My mom may have. Once when we were driving, I was about 5 or 6. I asked her to pull over. She said, "Why?" I said, "Because you just went through a red light." And she pulled over, but only so we could argue. She wanted a chance to argue her point that it was yellow, and that was okay. So she might have known. But as I look back, I can see clearly now what I couldn't see before as easily. And it's that the path to today is lined with all of you. Folks who've pushed me, supported me, just loved me. Been wonderful colleagues, given me great examples of the person and jurist that I want to be at all phases of my life. And I have plenty of inspiration that I'm looking forward to as I start this new career on the First District, because so many of you are just absolutely brilliant, wonderful, compassionate, full of integrity. And I'm really honored and just excited to join you. So thank you for your presence. There's a reception that awaits us in the atrium of the library. I don't yet know where that is, but I'm hoping someone will escort us there shortly. Thank you, and see you soon.